All right, you guys. So now once you've downloaded your CSV file from Noah's email and saved it to your computer, open up a new Google Sheet from Google Drive, just like this. We'll open up our CSV file to this Google Sheet by clicking File, Open, and Upload. And we're going to select a file from your device. Make sure you remember where you saved your CSV file. So this is my file. I'm going to open it. And it should look like this. So we have, okay, so what are we looking at really? So it should look like this. We have the station ID, that's Noah's way of giving it an ID. We have the name of that station. We have the date, both year and month. And this D column, the PRCP, which stands for precipitation. And this E column is T average. That stands for temperature, average temperature. And so once it's loaded, rename the Google Sheet to the location where you downloaded data from and include the Köppen climate classification for it. So this station is called the North Island Naval Air Station, and its Köppen climate classification for it is a BSH, which is a semi-arid dry climate. All right, now let's move some values around so that we can create a climograph. And to create a climograph, we only want 12 monthly values for this climatological data, right? So we have data from 1989 all the way down to 2019, right? That's 30 years worth of data for this climate station. And we're trying to get only 12 monthly values of rainfall, right? This precipitation, and 12 monthly values of temperature from that time period, from 1989 to 2019. So in order to do that, right, we're going to move some data around so that we can use the pivot table. Okay, so let's select D and E columns, right? So we're going to highlight D and E. And on the side here, you'll hover over the border of the blue and this white, the F column. And as soon as you see that hand icon, we're just going to grab it, click on it, and just move those two over one column. Okay, so for this D column, we're going to name it month. Right, we're going to separate the year and month values. And in order to do that, let's select C. We're going to select data at the top tab here. Top tabs, data, split text to columns, and you'll see the bottom here, the separator drop down menu. And so we're going to click on this menu and we're going to separate it by that dash. But we don't see dash here. So we're going to select custom. And inside this box, we're going to type in that dash. And once you type in that dash, it will automatically separate the values for you. So we have year, column C, and D is our months, but I don't know why the month got deleted. So let's just rename that again, month. Now we're ready to average our data. Okay, so let's highlight columns D, E, and F. Now these are the numbers that we're going to manipulate. By manipulating, I mean in that pivot feature of Excel, it's going to do the math for us, right? It's going to average these values for us. We don't need to mess with the year anymore because we know the data that we're averaging is from 1989 all the way down to 2019. So we're going to select D, E, and F, and we're going to click on Data, Pivot Table, select Pivot Table, and we're going to create Pivot Table, select Create. That'll just give us a new tab down below here. Okay, so that we can work with the data. The raw data is in this first tab down here. All right, so this is a blank page because we are going to tell it what to do. Okay, so in this rows section here, we're going to add month. So we see column A is our month, 1 to 12, which corresponds to January to December. And then for values, right here in this section, we're going to add both precipitation and then also add temperature. Okay, so it gives us these values. So what it did was it summarized all those values from that first sheet. It added all those values up. That's why we see sort of large numbers. Instead of a summation of these numbers, we want it summarized by average. Okay, so go down to summarize by and select average for both precipitation and summarize by average for temperature. So now it averaged all those yearly, monthly data for us. So we're going to only select the values that are relevant to this project. I don't know what this div error is. That shouldn't, but you shouldn't worry about those. So let's select cell A3 all the way to cell C14. Don't worry about this grand total. We don't need that data. We're going to highlight these cells, Command C or Control C if you have a PC. I'm using a Mac right now. And then we're going to select insert at the top, new sheet down below. So we're going to create a new tab down below where we're going to paste our data. So I'm going to select A2. We want to reserve this first row for the headers, right? The name of the column. So A2, select that cell and Command V or Control V to paste the values. So now I'm going to name this month. The B column, this is our rainfall. Don't forget our units, which is in inches, because we downloaded standard units when we were selecting data from the NOAA website. And this C column, this is our temperature. And it is in degree F. So in order to get that degree symbol, for a Mac, you want to select option 8. And that gives you that degree symbol there. I don't know what it is for PC, but you can just Google the degree symbol and just copy and paste it in there. It should be fine. And then F for Fahrenheit. All right, so we have our month, rainfall, and temperature. For a month, I want to change 1 to 12 to January to December. I'm going to just rename 1 to January, 2 to February. And a cool trick that I've learned in the past, select January and February, and then click on this corner of that cell. If you see the crosshair icon, select that corner and drag it to 12, and voila, it updates those numbers to the corresponding months for you. All right, now I'm going to, once you have your average values for that 30 years worth of data, I am going to create a climograph. Okay, so how do I do so? I'm going to select A, B, C columns, insert chart, and this chart editor feature pops up on the right-hand side of the Google Sheet. This is where we can change things on the graph itself. So here's the graph, right? It automatically pops up this chart, but for the chart type, we want a combo chart, which shows a line graph. So I went and I selected combo chart down here, and it shows a line graph and a bar graph. So the line is for temperature, and that bar graph, that blue, is rainfall. But what's wrong with this graph here, right? It only has the temperature scale on the y-axis here, but we want a secondary y-axis to showcase the rainfall data, right? And so in order to do that, we're going to select Customize in this chart editor here. We're going to select Series. And for the series, we want to change rainfall. So select rainfall. Scroll down to axis here. We don't want it on the left axis to read from that left axis scale. We want it on the right axis. There we go. Once you select right axis, it should update automatically. So now it's showing rainfall on my secondary y-axis, and then this primary y-axis is temperature. We have my month here. Now I want you to edit and label the scales, right? So how to do that? You're gonna, in Customize, select chart and access titles. For chart title, just give it the name that you've given this Google Sheet, right? So it will be the North Island Naval Air Station, the Köppen climate classification of a BSH. And that will update there. For my horizontal axis, I'm going to select horizontal axis. It's my month, but I also want to add the time period of this data, which is 1989 to 2019, 30 years worth of data, right? That's the climatology of the station, of this area in San Diego, right? So this station is in San Diego, which is a semi-arid climate. Now I'm going to select the vertical axis, which is my primary axis here, and I'm going to give it a label temperature Fahrenheit. Remember degree, don't forget that degree symbol, and that's option 8 for a Mac, F. And then I'm going to select the right vertical axis for my rainfall label. Rainfall, and that's in inches, and it shows it right there. Okay, now that we've created a climograph, right, that's done. I want you to share with me, share this Google Sheet with me. So how are you going to do that? You're going to select share, top right-hand corner here, and you're going to select get shareable link, right? This shareable link will allow me viewing permission, right? So that will give you a link here. Copy this link. Right, the link is copied to my clipboard. Head over to Laulima, to the assignments page, or the term project page, right? That's where you submit assignments. And you're going to copy and paste this link in the text box there, right? So copy and paste that link and submit. So that's the first submission. For the second submission, I want you to now copy and paste this climograph that you've created from the data that you downloaded into a Google presentation, right? So you're going to go to Google Drive, select a Google presentation, a new Google presentation, copy and paste this graph in there. And I want you to interpret this graph as well as to analyze the controlling factors, right? What are the factors that influence this semi-dry, semi-arid climate? All right, if you have any questions, please email me, and that'll be it. Thank you.